realtors the same, following along with that process or that thought process. So what I have found over the past year are a lot of realtors, or quite a few realtors, not using the guide. So the guide is something that RICO, our governing body, who is now run by the government, and our provincial government are adamant that we have to share this guide with you. And to tell you the truth, it is a very useful tool. It is common sense. It explains the new rules and regulations and laws very well. And in order for me to show you a home or even interact with you, send you searches of homes or speak to you as if I am representing you, the guide needs to be read by you as a consumer and acknowledged. What's in the guide? So what I like about the guide is that it discusses what a realtor should be offering you as services, a minimum of services. It also wants to spell out what type of paperwork you would be signing, and the fact that everything we discuss, which used to be verbal, in a verbal contract saying, hey, I'm going to do open houses until I sell the home, or whatever details that you want, like you're going to advertise in the local paper, or you're going to do social media, which is what I do, and social media ads and social media posts. That has to be in writing now. It has to be fully disclosed in writing. So that's number one. Number two is our government and our RICO governing body does not like multiple representation. And what is that? Simply when I, as a listing agent, find a buyer for my client's property, now I'm in multiple representation. And if both sides agree that they will utilize me for those services, then I'm in multiple representation. They want you to understand what the follies of that are. What are the risks? What are the risks to the point where the government and RICO state is happening or has happened in the past? So if that's the case, then you look at it this way. Say, well, then that's when the buyer and seller have to agree that they both use me as a realtor. If not, then I have to find another realtor for that buyer client because I owe fiduciary duties to both. Both do not agree. So then guess what? I'm going to do the fiduciary duties and retain my contractual agreement with my listing, with my seller, and I will find someone for the buyer. The third thing is there is no more customer service. They want people who represent themselves as self-represented parties. And so there are people who believe that they know everything about real estate, they know how to write up an offer, and they want that self-represented party to know the risks, and there are serious risks in representing yourself in any buy and selling negotiations. So, and of course, the limited services that I can provide if I'm working with a self-represented party. I still have to work with that party on behalf of my seller or my buyer, but I may not be able to do as much as that self-represented party, would want, but then they're self-represented, so they feel they know everything. And the fourth point in the guide is open offer process. Now, here in Niagara, we haven't seen a lot of that because that's when the market's hot for sellers, not buyers. So right now we're in a buyer's market. So I haven't seen a lot of this, but open offer process is where now legally a seller can open up dialogue and at any time during the offer process can change their minds and say, so we've had 3 offers in, usually in a multiple offer situation. We have 3 offers in, so I would like everyone to know what the top price is because I want them to come in higher and what the conditions are. So there are various items shared now or can be shared through the direction of the seller to the buyer agents or buyer realtors. And they can do it anytime. just has to be stated in writing so that the poor buyer agents are aware of what's going on. So that's new. Before that, we were only able to state how many offers came in. So, hey, I have 4 registered offers in. Offer presentation will be at such and such a time. Please contact me for more information, meaning if that realtors cannot make that deadline, then I may have to change the deadline. But other than that, that is basically what it states. And then the fifth. The fifth is where how you can report to RICO, our governing body. So that's as a registrant, that's my governing body. And what are the reasons for these changes and mandated acknowledgement on the guide? Because remember, it's not a contract, it's an acknowledgement. The consumer's reading it and they're initialing it so that they understand what new rules and regulations and laws have been put into place. And that was put into place in at the end of December 2023. So that is why I'm bringing this up, because if your realtor has not shared with you a guide and you're working with a realtor, what else are they not sharing with you? Already, you're starting off, and the English say, you're starting off on the wrong foot. And you literally are starting off on the wrong foot, because you need to be aware you have every right for disclosure, and you have every right to know as a consumer what your rights are. And this is what this guide provides. So if you have any more questions, let me know. But I have noticed a lot of realtors not using it. And when I meet buyers or sellers and they're not aware and they've just had, they've just done a transaction, or they were in the middle of a transaction, and I'm finding out the guide wasn't even mentioned. RICO, our governing body, is coming down heavily on that. So they are beginning to fine considerable amounts of money for us missing this guide. But I find it self-explanatory. I find it a very helpful tool. So if you need to know more or would like to know more, let me know.